Okay, everyone, welcome to Loshak in the Bag show for September 21st, 2021. Of course, Jimmy and I used to do this a bunch of years ago. We had a lot of fun. We're doing it now once again, 2021, and we're having a lot of fun again. Jimmy the Bag, just before we get into it, I think it's going to be a good show today. Look at this. I'm wearing a tie and Army fatigues. Look at this. Look at this. You seeing this? Look, forget about the handicapping. Who comes with a fucked up beard, Army fatigues, and a tie to a handicapping show? Only me. Only me, right, Jimmy the Bag?
Only Lotals, Loshak, the legend. You're looking like you're ready to cash. You're coming off a phenomenal week last week, aren't you?
Yes, and coming off of, well, I'm not going to talk about the things I didn't do publicly, but yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, Jimmy the Bag. One thing I always talk about, my mantra, my latest mantra for everyone, for all of the low baggers, is don't bite off more than you can chew, right? I follow it myself. I do as I preach. And right now I'm mostly focused 85% on baseball. I'm doing well with baseball. I am looking a little bit, though, at football, Jimmy the Bag. And you asked me to take a look at two college games, which we will take a look at. Should I give us one of them's Ohio State? And a spoiler right now, Jimmy the Bag, right? Ohio State, dominant team, right? Fucking team total over, obviously, right? We'll talk about it later. Right? Jimmy the Bag, right? No? Did I ruin everything?
Your call on Toledo was spectacular. Was absolutely unbelievable. Now your call was to fade Toledo, was Colorado State, and that was just exceptional. And so
and the under. I mean, part of the reason why I was seeing that game relatively clearly was because it was the only college game I looked at that week. Or there were a few others, but you know what I'm saying. Should I not have revealed what I'm going to say about Ohio State in about an hour?
No. Give them a little taste. Okay? Give them a little taste. If you want them to keep coming back, you gotta give them a little taste, Pete. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here working with you. I'm so happy to be working with the Low Bag Chat. We had a monster week in MLB. The season could have got away from me. We could have got away from me when I started the week. I started the week down over 15 units on the year and got about 8.5 units back last week. So I'm in fine shape. I'm 21-8 in NFL. 21-8, and that just feels so fucking good.
Whoa, 21-8, really?
Yeah, wow. 72.4% plus 11.95 units.
Shit.
We went 13-5 in week 1. We went 8-3 in week 2, and I'm 21-8, and that's 1-2 in player props. I'm just going to cut the player props out. They're just too much right now at my book. So I'm 20-6 in sides and totals to start the year, and I feel so damn good about it.
I mean, I've probably been leaving a lot of money on the table. One thing I knew I was expecting to happen in the NFL this year for lots of psychological reasons, but also for just because of refereeing issues, is I was expecting overs. I know they were going to be a lot more lax with offensive holding calls and with defensive interference as well, and it was obviously intended to increase scoring. I haven't even looked, but I'm assuming that that's happened. And I mean, I did talk about that with a couple of NFL games that I capped with you. I was like, I'm thinking 2 and 3 times about taking an under in the NFL this year, and not thinking too hard if I'm liking an over or that's how I would be doing it if I were handicapping NFL closely. Have you been cashing with a lot of overs?
No, I didn't have one over.
Really?
Last week, I'm kind of shying away from totals. I had the Buffalo Miami under 48, which cashed, and I had the Jets team total under 17.5 that cashed. I didn't bet one over. But you're right. The overs are coming in. I still have that fear of totals in the first few months of the year. Pete, we all come from Pete's cloth, and we've learned from him, and that's about transparency and honesty. So while NFL's going so well, I opened the year 14-3 in college football. I'm now just 19-17, down 0.05 units. So I've made no college football bets. Instead of my whole idea of just don't listen to anybody, don't watch anybody, just focus on it. No, I'm going to cut that now. I'm going to start listening. I'm going to start listening and watching the shows and I've watched C-Mac and Babano and just trying to get better at that. So that's where we stand right now, 6-5 in CFL and 326 and 298 in MLB, up 52.2%, down 7.57 units. ROI down 1.21%, average line minus 111. But I have a lot of confidence moving into this week after the successful week last week.
You know what else I'm thinking? Yeah, I'm thinking, how I'm always saying, don't bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to cut that out now because I realize now maybe I've left some money on the table here. You know what I mean? In NFL and college football. Don't bite off more than you can chew, but also don't be an annoying, sniveling little coward about it. Bite off as much as you can chew. Maybe I've gone a little overboard with. I've probably left money on the table with NFL and college. Just handicapping the few games I've been handicapping with you. I love the feel of it. I feel I probably should have been digging in a little bit harder.
The way you capped just the two games that we had on Tuesday, I was thinking about them all week, and I was like, you know what? Let's just stop everything and just start listening because I want to get back to winning. So one thing to always keep in mind, of course, in college football and all college sports, but in college football, they are amateurs. So that means a way, way more inconsistency than with professional athletes. Anywhere you're looking, professional athletes anywhere are going to be significantly less inconsistent than college athletes. Absolutely. And but the way you broke down that Colorado State game was just like eye-opening for me. But I know that we've talked about it on the show. Pete won the SBR college football contest out of over 2,000 contestants.
The only year I was eligible.
But we have a ton of work to do right now. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Viper, Simsela Cuck. I mean, what a great Simsela Cuck. Michael Irvalina, Sammy Calmer, Sean Higgs, Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast, Mr. Gokster, Evan L., Eric Thomas, Birdie, Serious Business, Eric Jones, Ick Schnizzle, Uncle Oliver, Real Deal Prime, Henry Dice, Puzzler. What a great group. Thank you guys. Creo in the house, Rem Mos, Bonqui. We got Skeet, Prophet, Slick Rick, The Ruler, Damon Santori, Mike M. What a great group. Matty Ice ready to go. Says take the points and fade Jimmy's hat this weekend. Says Matty Ice. Matty Ice heating up in a big way. The Taint play today now 54 and 41, 56.8%. Red Girl in the house. What a great group. Let's get to work. Sean Thompson, David Summers, Rodney Barton.
Couple things. Can I say one thing? Can I say one quick thing? Red Girl, sorry about that losing birthday pick I gave you a few weeks ago. It was that day when I was waiting for the J hat line to come out, and I wanted that to be the pick, but I didn't have the guts to give a pick for the line that wasn't out, and I wound up giving her a losing birthday pick. Happy birthday a couple of weeks ago for you, Red Girl. Sorry about that losing birthday pick, and shout out to Nush Flush Allen. Great guy, but even more important than that, an awesome analyst of all things San Francisco Giants. Hell yeah, shout out to Nush Flush Allen.
Flush Allen in the house. All right, it is time to get to work. But first, our man Nate Dogg 420, who's had our back since the very beginning of Pete and I working together. It's his birthday today. His mom has picked him up. He's going to try to watch as he's out for breakfast with his mom. He wants to be with us today. We wanted to give him a big happy birthday to Nate Dogg 420, and he said that he will be watching for his birthday pick. He will watch later. So we do have a birthday pick announcement right away. We need one for Nate Dogg 420. Let's get to work right now, Pete. We start at 1:10 p.m. Eastern. Chicago White Sox, Detroit Tigers, Comerica Park, Detroit, Michigan. When you watch us day in and day out, you can see what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. You say, I'd like to do this differently. That's part of the fun of capping. And one thing that clearly I've been doing wrong now for a while is I have an opportunity to bet with credit with a local, allows me to bet out of my tax bracket. And he's bet 365. Of course, he's not Pinnacle, right? Pinnacle gives you the best lines in the game, but he's bet 365 because he knows bet 365 wins. And I was waiting for the Detroit first five, waiting. It was plus 130. I gave it on Raw Mike Richards' radio show this morning at plus 130. It was available then at Sports Interaction. Waiting for Bet365 to drop it. Waiting. Checking every 10 minutes. They drop it at plus 110. And that's my mistake. And it's crucial for you guys to see the mistakes that I'm making. That's one of them. I did bet it at plus 110 in anger, seething anger. 75 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 15 miles per hour in. Dallas Keuchel going up against Tyler Alexandra. I want to fade Keuchel as much as possible. 8-9, 5.23 ERA, 1.47 WHIP. Did he right the ship last start. It was a 3-2 loss at home. He went 6 innings, 2 earned runs, no homers, 5 walks, 3 Ks in a loss at home to the Angels, who don't hit lefties. But that was at home, where he's been pretty good this year. 5-2, 4.50 ERA, 260 opponents batting average. On the road, 3-7, 6.06 ERA, 297 opponents batting average. In the daytime, he's 2-3 with a 5.91 ERA, 307 opponent batting average. Going up against Tyler Alexander, who has been good this year. I was impressed with his back-to-back starts against the Rays. That's not easy for a lefty. They're destroying lefties right now. And the last one was a little worse than the first one. 5 2/3, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 walks, 4 Ks. White Sox are smashing lefties. Look, when you're taking a dog, it's not all going to correlate. This one does not correlate. They're hitting 300, 861 OPS versus lefties. Tigers are only hitting 228, 647 OPS versus lefties. Both bullpens have been good of late. I did move on the Tigers at an embarrassing price point that makes me extremely angry. Let's set this table for our man Pistol Pete. This total opened up at 9.5. It's now at 9. The White Sox opened up at -162. They're now -144. An 18-cent move towards the Tigers. Pistol Pete, the afternoon game. Take it away.
You said you took the Tigers. Wait, an embarrassing point. I was looking at some of my screens here. What line did you get?
I got +110. It was the first line that was opened on the first 5, and it was +130 on the radio show I did this morning.
Wait, it was the first 5 innings line?
Yeah.
Wow. How did you get such a shitty line? I don't understand. Was the first line?
It was the first one that came out. It came out about an hour and a half ago. It's just my fault for not having multiple books to use. And
yeah, I had Detroit yesterday, and I took a small shot with Detroit here on the full game on the overnight line. I definitely took a small shot with that. I might go on it bigger. It's now moved up to 1 o'clock. I also took a shot with the under at 9.5, and I got a pretty decent line there on the overnight line, that is. And you were talking about Keuchel, and Keuchel is you were asking if he righted the ship. I mean, a veteran like Keuchel, it's not so much a matter of righting the ship. He mostly kind of sucks, except in situations that are okay for him. He can be relied on to be okay, and I think that's one of them. So I took a shot with Detroit as this big of a home dog. I've definitely been betting Detroit in September. I've talked about this on a lot of shows, and there's a lot in baseball. Shitty, scrappy teams that are playing a lot of youngsters and are a big underdog in most games in September, unless they're going up against another team that's also like that, in which case you get even money lines on both sides. Don't really know what to do, but a lot of times those teams do have value, and that has been the case with Detroit this month, and I've been betting them. It's also a little bit recently been the case with Arizona. I've been betting them on their team total overs as well. So in this spot, I just took a small shot with Detroit as a home dog. I don't know if I want to make it official, but I definitely bet it. And I also took a shot with the under at 9.5. It should be a relatively lazy, calm day. I don't love taking unders with the White Sox, even in a situation like this. If it loses, I'll be okay because I bet appropriately. But that's what I did with this game. I don't know if I want to give the under as an official play here, but I definitely bet it at 9.5.
Yeah, I like it. You beat the move by a half run. Both pitchers have struggled against the opposition. For one, I'm very, very comfortable with Tyler Alexander's last 2 starts against the Rays. I thought they were good against the team that smashes. Keuchel, 322, 961 OPS against the Detroit Tigers players that we expect to be in the lineup. And against Alexander, 337, 907 OPS. But you're getting this big win coming in. Let's move over to the cash flow here. This is the first game on the card, so we expect to be a lot of tickets, or at least a decent sample size, 4,791. I will refresh it, but 67% of the tickets on the White Sox, 58% of the cash. Makes sense. We see the market move towards the Tigers. Then we have 54% of the tickets and 83% of the cash on the over, which is interesting. And you can imagine that the overbettors came in when it was at 9. And that is game 1. Let me just refresh and see if anything changed. No, that's the situation. All right. So, are you going to make either of those official, my friend?
All right. I'll give the full game under as an official play. Sure. I mean, I definitely feel like there is actual value. If I didn't think there was some value to me being on camera, I wouldn't be on camera, Jimmy the Bag. But I definitely feel like my analysis and my discussion of the lines in general and talking about what I bet is more valuable than actually tailing actual picks, because as you know, as I talk about all the time, a lot of these tough totals and the huge underdogs that I think have some value but still should be a big underdog are just tough for me to give out as public plays, Jimmy the Bag. But overall, I'm having a pretty solid year in MLB, up 3% ROI on a huge sample size that's weighted. This one could what I'm trying to say is this one could easily lose considering the starting pitchers involved, but I'll make the under, an under an official play. Let me just see what it is.
There are no 9.5s left. Are you going to give it that a 9?
Right. I'll take a 9. Don't you love how I eat up like 30 seconds of airtime completely unnecessarily, just out of insecurity and making preemptive excuses? You know what I'm saying? That's one of the many reasons why. All right, let me see. I'll take, sure, plus 100. Pinnacle is 103. I'll take that one. The under 9 plus 103. Make it official.
9 plus 103. Matty Ice says full game under might be a good look, but I doubt it goes 9 because there's rain coming.
Right, sure.
Rain is coming. Okay, let's move on. That is our your 110 start. I'm on Tigers first 5. Pete's on the full game under 9 at plus 103. Let's move on to another spot that messed with me. I did get the Indians first 5 minus a half, which is what I wanted. But I also moved on the over 9 last night at minus 125 with confidence that I'd wake up to a 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not wake up to the 9.5. Not only that, but when you go to the cash flow, we have 95% of just 3,228 tickets, but 95% of the cash on the under. And I thought, wow, what have I done? Let's talk about this spot. Royals 33-43 on the road. Indians 36-38 at home. Progressive Field, Cleveland, Ohio. 75 Fahrenheit, overcast, 13 miles per hour out to center. Daniel Lynch going up against Cal Quantrill. So Lynch is an interesting guy. 4-5, 5.34 ERA, 1.61 WHIP. We know he's got a very high upside. Young pitcher. 48 Ks, 26 walks in 59 innings. His last start was bad. They only let him go 2 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, only one of which was earned. No homers, 1 walk, 1 K, and a 7-2 loss at home versus the A's. But that's his MO at home. He gets hit at home. He's 2-3 with a 6.67 ERA, 2.77 opponent's batting average. On the road, 2-2, 3.99 ERA. But the opponents are hitting 3.06 against them, just not with as much power. Cal Quantrill on the other side, I want to back him at home as much as possible. 4-0, 2.27 ERA, 2.17 opponent's batting average. Coming off a great start at Minnesota. On the road, he's a worse 3.75 ERA, 2.49 opponent's batting average. Both teams are raking right now. Indians versus lefties last 30 days, 2.75, 8.49 OPS. Royals versus righties last 30 days, 2.94, 8.08 OPS. Royals bullpen has been much better than the Indians bullpen of late, 3.09 ERA, 1.17 WHIP. So with all that being said, I'm very confident and comfortable with my Indians first 5 minus a half, and I'm quite nervous with my over 9 at minus 125. Pete, the Indians opened up at minus 129. At Pinnacle, they're now at minus 146. They were at minus 139 last night, so it keeps moving in their direction. And Pinnacle just moved back to 9.5. Okay, good. So Pinnacle just moved back to 9.5, and so did Heritage. Well, that gives me a little bit of hope. Pete, take it away. Royals, Tribe.
Yeah, I don't hate the over at all. I would be leaning that way as well. It's it's a little bit of a tricky situation because the doubleheader and everything. I mean, Cleveland, the lineup is in general. I have them rated as relatively weak. So they were coming off of a bunch of unusually explosive performances. Then they come home and play a doubleheader. So that's an uncertain situation. Monkey wrench thrown into it. But and of course, as you said, both these starting pitchers have high upside. And I also like Cleveland first 5 as well. That's a bet. I haven't bet it yet, but I probably will, and I might give that one officially. And again, if Lynch comes in and all of a sudden is as great as he was just a few weeks ago, all right, maybe the play loses. Although Quantrill might be able to match him, so I wish I was getting a little bit of a better line, but I like Cleveland first 5 as well. I don't hate the over. There's a slight chance I might be on overs in some way by first pitch, and I don't hate anything that you're on right now.
I like hearing that a lot. And TJ's play of the day is Cleveland first 5 -1/2. The for schnizzle play of the day, Cleveland first 5 -1/2 as well.
I'll make this one. I'll make that official. I'm not -1/2, but I'm going to take just the money line. Let's see what we're getting here. 146 at Pinnacle. I'll take that. I'll quickly check a couple other books, but I'll take that. Cleveland first 5. Yeah, I'm saying 145. Yeah, that's a little bit of a high line, but I'll take it. Cleveland first 5 -145. My numbers indicate that there's still a little bit of value there.
Our guy North Ender listening while working. We love you, North Ender. Hoops 590 also on the Cleveland first 5 spot. Sean Thompson says it makes sense, Jimmy. Sean Thompson says Rawls should be a nice dance partner unless Cal goes John Wick. So we're in business here. First 5 -1/2, and I got -115. And which is, again, not the best fucking line.
And I would also be maybe thinking about Cleveland team total overs as well, although that is obviously very risky, but that's what my numbers indicate, and I might be on those as well.
And the Cupcake King, Maxwell Smart, Bryce Harper over 1.5 bases is all that he is on today. Maxwell Smart in the house. It's almost his time of year. As soon as there's a little bit of chill in the air, it's almost Max's time of year for him to shine. Pimp Slap play of the day. Second one. Mike, I missed the first one. My bad. I missed the first one. Pimp Slap play of the day is Toronto first 5 -1/2. Toronto first 5 -1/2. Very excited about that spot, or that game, as we all are up here in the north. So let me copy and paste that and have that set up right above the Jays Rays. That pops off at 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Okay, next up for us, and there's Eddie Oiler said I played Twins Cubs over +102. Cubs over 5 in a row. Twins 44-25 to the over. I think we can get over 8 in a nothing game. Look at that. I'm going to copy and paste. That's a great. I love Eddie Oiler. That's great stuff. So I'm going to copy and paste that. Okay, Pete, let's move on to the next spot for us on the card. And I moved on this as well. Now, there's light rain throughout the whole day. Not sure how that's going to affect things. Pirates at Reds, Great America Ballpark, Cincinnati, Ohio, 76 Fahrenheit, light rain, 7 miles per hour in. Mitch Keller versus Tyler Mahle. How long is Tyler Mahle going to be the most predictable pitcher in Major League Baseball? Is it going to last all year? I don't know. It's been too easy so far. He's just been a gift to all of us so far. At home, he's one of the worst pitchers in baseball. 4-3, 6.09 ERA, 276 opponent's batting average. On the road, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. 8-2, 1.85 ERA, 192 opponent's batting average. He just tries to be too perfect at home. And maybe the light rain and the small crowd that will be out, maybe that will help him here. But Mitch Keller has the very similar splits, except he is on the road in this spot where he's been very good. 2-3, 3.63 ERA, 269 opponent's batting average. At home, he's 2-8, 7.76 ERA, 341 opponent's batting average. I just think that maybe I'm asking too much for Mahle just to fill my pockets every 5 days with his predictability. But I'm not going to stop. I'm just not going to stop until he shows me a sign. Mitch Keller, I'm backing here, who's got a 6.14 ERA, 1.74 whip, but I don't get caught up in that. I focus on his road stats where he's been very good. Pirates versus righties last 30 days, 237, 688 OPS, terrible. Reds have been just as bad versus righties last 30 days, 229, 688 OPS. Pirates bullpen, Reds bullpen have both been pretty good. We have Taint in. We have the Kraken play of the day in. We got a bunch of action in right now. And I'm going to copy and paste everything and get it all set up. But let's hear Pete's take on Pirates Reds right now. This is the scene that is set. Reds open up at -192. They're now -198 at Pinnacle. 6-cent move towards them. And the under 9 is now juiced. So a 6-cent move towards the under. Take it away, Pete.
Pittsburgh is an interesting team. I've talked a lot about them in these shows with you, Jimmy the Bag. As you know, I've said that I'm often tending to bet Pittsburgh as a big or huge dog at home, even when on paper it looks a little bit iffy. And of course, that has paid off for me this year. And anyone who listened to me about that, it's paid off for them as well. Kind of the opposite is true, though, when they go on the road. Even when they're a huge road underdog, I do sometimes bet them, but I'm always thinking twice about it. Did you know, Jimmy the Bag, that the Reds have beaten the Pirates 13 straight times at home? 13 straight times at home. That means that the average line for those games should have been, Cincinnati minus 1,000 or whatever. My numbers indicate that there might be a little bit of value here with Pittsburgh, but I don't trust my numbers in this spot, and I haven't bet it yet. My numbers indicate maybe a shot with the first 5 over, although I haven't bet that one either, and I don't think I'm going to. So I might have plays on this game by first pitch, but as of right now, nothing. It's a tricky one, and no play as of right now.
Well, I just realized when I saw 2 Taint plays, I didn't realize one was actually here on this game. So Taint is getting started with the red team total over 4.5 at minus 130. And Taint, as I said, has been running hot. Matty Ice said, look, Taint is going to be at 60%. Because it's always been at 60%, and he's climbing, and he's on his way to 60% right now, sitting right now at 54 and 41, 56.8%. And a big shout out to our man Matty Ice and sweet Taint Reds team total over 4.5. There we go. Ryan Buttonelli says, what up, Jimmy? What time do you usually do beat the line? That's tonight, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, and I can't wait to get back to work here. Eddie Euler says, legend Loshak and camo like Rambo.
Hell yeah. And a tie. Check out the tie. A pink paisley tie. Hell
looking sharp. Looking sharp.
Up beard.
So hearing the Reds team total over as a Taint play today, does that make you want to move on the over? Or are you going to wait and decide? No,
I haven't bet it yet. The Cincinnati team total over makes sense. My numbers indicate there's a little bit of value there as well. The first, if the first 5 were 4.5 minus 110, I'd probably take a shot with that, but I'm not seeing that anywhere right now. And I might have some plays. I likely will have some modest bets on this game by first pitch, but as of right now, can't endorse anything.
Crystal Warren says, I'm on this game to go over, and I've been on Reds games under for 3 weeks.
Yeah, my numbers agree with that.
All right, there you have it. So Taint is on the board, and Mike M, Detroit first 5 plus a half is the first pimp slap play today.
That's good. That's not bad. I might be on that one as well.
I like it. I want the plus line, so I'm on the money line, but I get it. I absolutely get it. Okay, Max on record says, Matty Ice pick let you down in your Falcon bet. Time for Ryan to retire. It was a loss. It was one of only 2 losses in sides and totals for me. And I still felt like it was a good bet. And obviously, when you lose, it's not a good bet. But when they were down 3 in the second half there, I was like, God, it felt good. It felt good, but it doesn't end up good. Okay, so let me just pop the first pimp slap play today in that Tigers game right underneath Pete's action. So there we go. And the second one is on the Blue Jays game. I believe I already put that there. And I have. Okay, so let's move on right now. Brian Watson in the house. There's Domi Ricci says Reds team total over. Sounds good. And let's move on to a very interesting. There's so many very interesting spots here. So I moved on all 3 of the first games that we've talked about, and I almost moved on this one. Washington Nationals at Miami Marlins. These pitchers just faced each other, and they're both feel-good stories. And Noli Knows broke it down really well from a psychological aspect. Trevor Rogers dealing with his grandparents dying of COVID, his mom very ill with COVID, but she's turned the corner, and Josh Rogers coming off the 2 Tommy Johns. Trevor Rogers saying, look, I'm going to battle. I'm going to battle like my mom did. I'm going to battle because he could possibly win Rookie of the Year here. And then Josh Rogers is just such a feel-good story for this clubhouse that is in desperate need of one. 27 games under 500. We're at loanDepot Park in Miami, Florida. I expect the roof to be closed. In this last meeting, the bullpens fell apart, but these guys pitched an under first 5 and cashed for Noli. And Rogers was excellent. Josh Rogers, 5 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks. And then Trevor Rogers went 4 innings, allowed 7 hits, but he bends and doesn't break. 1 earned run, no homers, 1 walk, and 3 Ks. The Nats are smashing lefties. They're just hitting him so hard, and that's why I almost took the dog here. I didn't think the risk reward was enough for me. 308, 876 OPS versus lefties last 30 days, and the Marlins just don't hit lefties at all. 204, 617 OPS. You have to think that Josh Rogers is capable of having another nice start here. Nationals bullpen is so bad, 5.55 ERA, 1.60 whip. Marlins bullpen 2.90 ERA, 1.25 whip. Marlins bullpen really turned the corner here. And Pete, let's go. Take it away. Rogers. Marlins opened up minus 150. They're now minus 135. A 15-cent move over to the Nationals, which makes sense to me. And a 1-cent move towards the under. It's sitting at 8 at minus 107. Take it away.
Yeah, nice breakdown there, Jimmy the Bag. My numbers indicate that Washington as a dog has a little bit of value, nothing great, very small value, but very high confidence. And regular viewers of my videos know that the confidence number for me is more important than the implied edge, than the edge number. I like Washington. I like Washington first 5, and I'll probably be on Washington first 5, and I'll give it as an official play. I'm seeing plus 135, which is a little bit higher than I would have maybe guessed it would be, but I'll take it. Washington first 5, money line, plus 135. I'll make it an official play.
It makes so much sense. There's our guy Sharon in the house. That makes so much sense. By the way, Clint has been handing out winners as always to us all the time, and here it is.
Really?
Dana White's Contender Series tonight. He's betting Hashem Arkaga, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, at plus 105, and Michael Morales at plus 205. So 2+ spots for our man Clint, who was excellent on our football show on Sunday, and I just love capping with the man. So shout out to our man Clint, star of the diehard MMA. He had Boone Kelleher on his show last night.
Wow.
So, great stuff. If you missed the Kelleher breakdown and interview, check it out. It's on the YouTube Pub Sports Radio YouTube page. Okay, so I completely get it. I just think, Boom had to cancel, said Clint. Okay, sorry, Boom had to cancel. My bad. Rogers here. You're on the Nats first 5, and it makes so much sense to me. What did you get? Plus 135?
Plus 135. So that's a solid line. You know, my numbers indicate that that Miami should be a significant favorite. Not that significant favorite though, and the confidence numbers associated with it are very strong. So I'll take it. Officially.
I like it. And there's Kev Riley in the house. What a beautiful weekend, 9-2. I think that I'm going to tail this, so I'm going to put some asterisks beside it. I wanted to move on it. I was just questioning whether the risk reward was right, fading Rogers in this situation, but I like it. There you have it. Let's just take a quick look at the cash flow here in that spot. Rogers versus Rogers. Just 1,374 tickets in. We have 57% of the tickets and 64% of the cash on the Nats, and the market moved towards, and that all makes sense. 41% of the tickets and 90% of the cash on the over, which is quite interesting. Okay, so let's move on to Orioles Phillies, but I don't know if we can talk much about it. We don't know who is pitching for the Phillies. We expect Chris Ellis to be pitching for the Orioles, and he's just being very good. And this idea I have that if the Tampa Bay Rays get rid of him, he can't be good, looks like it's a mistake. The Phillies are smashing righties right now. Last 30 days, 253, 786 OPS. Both bullpens are terrible. But Chris Ellis has been very good. We can just move right past this game, Pete, but do you expect Chris Ellis's strong play to continue?
Until further notice, until he gets injured or whatever. I'm generally high on him, you know, if he's especially pitching for Baltimore, because then he's getting a big dog line, which means the other team's going to have a high bunch of team totals. And if he's going up against a strong lineup with a 3.5 first 5 team total with a bunch of righties in it, I'm looking at taking the first 5 team total under if he's facing that kind of a team, especially a team like the Yankees.
We're talking Phillies, though, right?
No, I know. I'm just saying, like a highly regarded lineup where you're getting a first 5 team total of 3.5 with a bunch of righties in it, and you know what I'm saying.
I hear you, and we just got a note from Eddie Orler that he's seeing green on the bump.
Well, it's going to be a bullpen day for both of these teams, so we'll see what the lines are when they come out.
Okay, it will take a little bit of time. Arthur Meade Jr., we haven't picked that game to cap yet. That game pops off Thursday. He's talking about App State Marshall. We're definitely going to break that game down, and I will send a message.
Maybe in future shows, if you want, if there's a specific game you want us to cover, you want me to look at, I'll do that. I'll do it. You can't be cute and be like, could you cover the whole card? Thanks. No, like 1 or 2 games, sure. You know what I'm saying?
That's great. That's great because I did that with Pete today. So if you want to hit me on the weekend or even on Monday, or Pete about a game you want Pete to break down, I would love that. We'd love that. So no worry there. Rose says, Mr. Reds game, what's the word? I'm on the Pirates' first 5 at a huge score at plus 170. And then our guy, Matty Ice, Taint play today is the Reds team total over. Reds team total
and
over.
also, my numbers like the over. Crystal Warren likes the over. I think a few other people, I am looking at the chat now, like the over. So I don't know if I'm going to be on that, but that's the way I'm leaning, and I probably will be on it, maybe at least small.
And giant shout out to Arthur Meade Jr. says, $5 dono to Jimmy the Bag, Peter Loshak, and Lowbag family. You're a good man, Arthur. Thank you so much for your support. Means a ton to us. You're a good man. Thank you. Okay, we move past this Orioles Phillies game, going to be a bullpen day, and we get to Matty Ice's second taint play of the day. Texas Rangers at New York Yankees, and it is the Yankees run line is taint number 2. Taint number 2. And initially, I wanted to fade Dunning and back the Yankees. Dunning splits at home. He's very good. 5-2, 2.67 ERA, 250 opponent's batting average. On the road, 0-6, 6.65 ERA, 317 opponent's batting average. Mike M., what is your Twitter handle? It's my mistake if I don't follow you. I try to follow all the guys that are involved in the show, so that's a mistake. So just hit me put your Twitter handle in the chat, and I'll make sure that I follow it right away. Last start for Dane Dunning was ugly. It was at home, 2 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, but 4 Ks, 7-2 loss at home. 73 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 8 miles per hour sideways in the Bronx today. Going up against Montgomery, who had a nice start last out. It was a 3-2 extra inning loss at the Orioles, but he went 5 2/3, 6 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 1 walk, and 12 Ks. He's had a good year, 3.63 ERA, 1.25 whip, and I have a vividness bias of losing bets when I backed him, but he's had a good year. The Rangers don't hit lefties, 238, 665 OPS, and the Yankees are hitting righties okay, low average, but some power at 236, 767 OPS. Rangers bullpen last 30 has been quite good, 3.64 ERA, 1.33 whip. Yankees bullpen 4.31 ERA, 1.33 whip as well. Let's set this table for Pistol Pete here. The Yankees opened up at minus 266. They're now minus 259. This total opened up at 8.5 at minus 106, 7-cent move to the under. I'm a little surprised by the minus 259. That means money's come back. Yeah. So at 10:25 a.m., so an hour and 10 minutes ago, this was minus 243. And it got to 9:18 a.m., this was minus 237. So I guess it's just as expected, Pete. Yankees money just trickles in.
Yeah.
But that had kept me off of making this move that Taint has done. Yankees minus 120. Take it away. I love hearing you break down these Yankees.
Yeah, this is a tough one. The Texas is not quite in the category of some of the other bad teams right now that I'm betting. But the other problem is that they're really, really bad, but not quite this bad. So that's a situation that's very frustrating when you have a massive underdog that should be a massive underdog, just a little bit less of a massive underdog than they're being priced. The Rangers offense should be a little bit better going forward, even though they're also very ineffective. They've gotten a little bit unlucky over the past bunch of games where they've been scoring 1 and 2 runs every game, and Montgomery is the real deal. Can get hit, but in general, excellent. So I think I'm going to have to pass on this one as an official play. If the first 5 innings, if there was a 5 on the first 5, I would make the under an official play, and I would bet it. And I would have a extremely slight and unpleasant lean to Texas in this game, at plus 1.5 or plus 1, and on the first 5, plus 0.5 as well. And an extremely, extremely small and unpleasant lean to Yankees team total unders as well. I'm not going to give any of those as official plays. I'll probably wind up betting them, but small. I weight my bets pretty significantly, so a lot of times the smallest degree of bet that I make has no ultimate impact on my P&L overall. But yeah, that's how I'm thinking here, Jimmy the Bag.
Interesting. The initial move towards the Rangers scares me.
Yeah.
It scares me off the Yankees. At least I don't need to take such a big favorite when clearly some models and the like think that the Rangers have value at this price. 2 for 17 are the Yankees against Dunning. 118 average, 387 OPS. Now, that happened at Globe Life. We'll see what he can do in the Bronx. Against Montgomery, just 3 at-bats. So an interesting spot here. And Taint's on the Yankees run line -120, and Taint's being eaten. Crystal Warren said, I almost bet the under first 5, but Dunning's away ERA has me off of it.
I would be leaning unders here, stronger than anything else, or less weak than anything else. Can I give a quick shout out to Big Joe Betts, Jimmy the Bag?
Yeah, of course. I love him.
Joe Betts says, what up, Pete and Jimmy from Big Joe and Chili Dog Dooley. Remember Chili Dog Dooley, Jimmy the Bag?
Of course.
They asked me for a Super Bowl pick 2 years ago, I think it was, and I couldn't say no, and I was stressing out for a bunch of days, and I finally wound up giving it, and it cashed. San Francisco first half. Shout out to Big Joe Betts.
Big Joe, Chili Dog, Dooley. Yes, Kev Riley, baseball playoff start October 5th. Nobody knows giving that number. And that is also Ski Prophet's birthday. My birthday is the day before October 4th. And I tell you what, there's going to be a year where Ski and I do a joint handicapping tournament over our 2 days of birthdays in Vegas. And but I digress. That's going to happen, though. We're going to have a birthday handicapping tournament celebration in Las Vegas coming up on one of these years. All right, we move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. There's no move for me. Eddie Oler says the Yankees have covered the run line just once in their last 5 games. But that doesn't scare Matty Ice, who's running hot right now. 7:10 p.m. Eastern's next up. New York Mets at Boston Red Sox. Mets 73-77. What a disappointing season. 29-44 on the road. Red Sox 86-65, 47-29 at home. Fenway Park, Boston. Massachusetts, 69 Fahrenheit, clear, 7 miles per hour. Oh, did I give the cash flow? Sorry, I didn't give the cash flow for the Yankees game, and I wanted to. I know that's going to be very interesting. 3,467 tickets in. 65% of the tickets, 87% of the cash on the Yankees, and yet the market moved towards the Rangers. Red flag. 60% of tickets on the over and 92% of cash on the over. Very, very interesting there. Back to this Mets-Red Sox spot. Marcus Stroman against Eduardo Rodriguez. A lot of people calling out the character of the New York Mets, but Pete won't hear of it if we talk about any negativity towards Marcus Stroman. And I love him. He's been good.
I mean, modest and warranted negativity, sure. He's certainly not in the elite, level of pitchers, but he's definitely in the level of reliable and good to bet on in spots, which this might not be one of those spots. But yeah, he's a guy. I've had a pretty good read on Stroman. But anyway, go on.
So consistent. And I wanted to back him here, but you're right. I was not sure if this was one of the spots, and I laid off. Last start was at home versus the Cardinals, and he was good. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 Ks. It was a quality start. Going up against Eduardo Rodriguez, who is being better of late, but still sitting with a 5 ERA, 1.38 whip on the year, and 11-8. His last start was a 5-4 loss at the Mariners, but it wasn't his fault. He had a quality start, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, just 1 earned, 1 walk, 6 Ks. Eduardo Rodriguez has been bad at home. And that was my initial feeling. I was like, well, he's been so bad at home, I should back the Mets here. At home, he's 4-4 with a 6.32 ERA, 278 opponent's batting average. On the road, 7-4, 4.22 ERA, 276 opponent's batting average. Mets aren't hitting lefties, 244, 720 OPS over the last 30. Red Sox are smashing righties. 271, 846 OPS over the last 30. Deacon Mike in the house betting the over 2.5 home runs. New York Mets, Boston Red Sox. He's been smashing that prop at Bovada. Mets bullpen 3.72 ERA, 1.35 whip. Last 30. Red Sox bullpen 3.94 ERA, 1.37 whip. Been looking good. Let's set the table for Loshak and watch him roll. The Red Sox open up at -157. Wow, a huge move now to the Mets. 27 cents. Holy shit. I should have moved on it. The under 9.5, just a 5-cent move towards that. Open up -109, now -114. Take it away, Pete.
Here's some good analysis from you, Jimmy the Bag. Stroman is actually very statistically similar to Keuchel, or I should say Keuchel when he was good. Obviously, now Keuchel is in the ass category of pitchers, and Stroman is in the above average category of pitchers. But Keuchel used to be in the above average category of pitchers. Very similar. They get grounders, and they benefit a lot from being promising in situations that are helpful for them, which is why Stroman has been so good this year. Pitching in the National League, pitching in that park, and and pitching for the Mets, who are unusually good defensively. So that's all helped him. Like Keuchel, though, when he's going up against a tougher lineup, with a DH, he can be expected to be a lot worse. And I think that's a situation here. This is not a great spot for Stroman. I don't know if it's a great spot for Rodriguez either. My numbers like the Mets a little bit and the first 5 over as well, just a little bit, but relatively high confidence. Those are 2 plays that I'm leaning towards, and also the Mets full game team total over as well. I'm probably going to be on all 3 of those modestly. And since they're all correlated, obviously I take that into consideration as well. I bet baseball games. I bet a lot of different bets that are highly correlated, and I bet them very low. But the combination of the bets puts me on a big position. This is a classic example. I'll probably be on the Mets team total over, the Mets full game money line, and the first 5 over. Those are all highly correlated. I'll be on them all modestly, but a pretty strong position overall on the game.
Interesting. And there's our guy, Nate Dogg, 420, 52 years young today. Nate Dogg, 420. Happy birthday, my man. Let's all give our guy Nate Dogg a shout out. He's had our back since day one. Love the man. He's here from the 6th, so I've got a chance to have drinks with him and hang with him. Shout out to Nate Dogg. Happy birthday, my guy. Sneaking in a little time when he's out for breakfast with his mom. Okay, here we go. Stroman, Rodriguez. Let's take a look at the cash flow and the batter versus pitcher. Against Stroman, the Red Sox have a big sample size, 305, but with an 821 OPS. So 32 for 105, but 8 doubles and 3 homers out of those 32. So not a ton of power for a 300 average. Against Rodriguez, only 5 batters have seen him, and one's Peraza with 1 at bat. So really only 4 batters have seen him, and they're hitting 214 with a 593 OPS against them. Let's take a look at the cash flow. Maybe that will help us a little more here. And where is it? Here God, what the hell is it? Sorry, what's wrong with me? Oh, there it is. 2,900 tickets in, and we have 70% of the tickets, 82% of the cash on the Red Sox, and the market's moving towards the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. This is not a good spot for Stroman at all. And I think I like the overs a little bit more. So, a lot of time, and so this is why I play, I bet the way that I do. Instead of taking one bet, hoping that bet cashes, I'll take a bunch of different bets, and they're all highly correlated. And if my overall analysis on the game is right, I'll win most of those bets, if not all of them. And if it's wrong, that's fine. But yeah, so, Mets first 5 over, and a little bit on the Mets team total over as well.
I like it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to pull the trigger, but it all makes sense.
What the hell? I'll take Mets on the full game money line at even at the reduced line as an official play. I'm seeing plus 120. That's okay. I'll take that one. If it loses, that's fine.
And I do prefer the first 5 over the full game, but all of that makes sense. There's Sanka joining us. Great to see you, Sanka. Thank you for rolling with us. Let's move on to a huge game for us up here.
Well, let me quote the line. I made it official, Jimmy the Bag.
I thought you said plus 120.
Yeah, that was what I was seeing at Pinnacle. Now I'm going to do a little bit of digging here, and I'm seeing plus 122, so I'll make that the official line.
Plus 122 for Pete on the New York Metropolitans. We have our guy Dami Gun Ricci. Oh, he locked in the Mets under 9.5.
Really? Okay, yeah. Dom Ricci, I definitely I'm anything Mets related. I trust Dom significantly more than my own opinion. I trust my opinion a bit as well. Dom Ricci famously told us very accurately to bet Jake DeGrom in all games where there was decent weather, but when it was cold, fade, and I've done well with that ever since he alerted me to that. So he likes the under, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously Stroman I think this is a vulnerable spot for him, but he's still pretty reliable and good this year overall, and there's no reason to expect that not to continue for the rest of the year. And Erod as well is significantly more vulnerable at home, but also since his velocity increased, he's been above average. So that's understandable.
Well, this may help all of us here, or it may hurt us. Who knows? But fresh off a spectacular 5.7 unit casher on Wednesday. And of course, after he cashes like that, he just fucks off for a couple of days. That's how our man rolls. The producer of the show now on his high watermark for the season in impressive fashion. Jose Bouquet now 39 and 37 plus 4.13 units, an ROI plus 5.43%, average line plus 104, has a say hey play of the day on this Mets spot. So let's see what it is. Shout out to Jose, looking so good there when he's, fighting for his country. And here he is for the say hey play of the day. Jose, what is your look here on Mets, Red Sox, and how are you?
Gentlemen, I'm doing all right. Jimmy, I think my favorite say hey plays of the day are the ones where you narrowly forget about me. I have to remind you. So I love it. Those are my favorites.
Well, I'm happy you're smiling, but wipe that fucking smile off your face. The more serious you get, the better you are at capping. So keep it serious. Wipe it off! Wipe that shit off!
What happened to winning cappers get to do what they want? I'm 4 units up. I'm 4 units up.
Okay, no. You're right. You can smile. My bad. You're right. You are very successful on this show. ROI over 5%. We are all very impressed. So you're right. And way to stand your ground there, Jose. Show us the yellow picket fence teeth that you have, and let's get to work.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you, Jimmy, for all those compliments. Pete, again, it's nice to see you. I noticed you didn't say anything about my good record now, so I'll take that. Oh yeah, no,
I will say something. I just saw on the comment section that our man Nate Dogg 420 said, Pete, can I get a famous birthday pic? So yes, of course, the answer is yes, and I've been looking at that a little bit, but yes. So you've been kicking ass recently. That's great. Everyone's been kicking ass. Jimmy the Bag in NFL, everyone. This is great to hear, great to see.
But Pete, it's not just that I'm kicking ass.
Uh-huh.
I was there to witness it with my own 2 fucking eye slits.
Right.
I was there. I said no run first inning on Wednesday, Astros Rangers. I saw them. I talked to the pitchers pregame. I said, look, Daddy, I need it. I need it bad. And they got me that no run first inning. And guess what, Pete? I tripled down on the game, Pete. You don't know this. I'm giving people the update. But I said Carlos Correa, home run prop. Plus 375. Put that in my pocket too. And I said first 5 under or over 2.5 for the Astros. Pete, guess what, Pete? Guess who was right here when he watched that first 5 cash and Carlos Correa hit the home run. That little gray blob over there is me, sitting by myself because Big Show and Joe and good friend Jeff Slaughter were out doing whatever, didn't want to be associated with me, and I fucking cashed that ticket, no problem, no sweat, and I celebrated for the rest of the game. It was a great time.
It's probably because you called him Daddy, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But,
yes.
But
by the way,
Jose, Mets, Red Sox, take it away.
You're right. I have not bet the Red Sox in a while. Everyone always says that I'm a biased homer. Whatever. I'm betting the first 5 under 5 today, guys. I think both of these pitchers dominate today. I think Marcus Stroman, you guys love Marcus Stroman. I can't stand Marcus Stroman. He has been a pain in the ass since he's been a Blue Jay. Now he's going to come back. He loves beating the Red Sox. I think he has a nice start today. And I think Eduardo Rodriguez also has a nice start today. He's been pitching well. So first 5 under 5. Give me that. I'll put that in my pocket. Minus 107 and our friends at Pinnacle. So I love it.
There you have it. And that correlates with our guy, Dommy Gun Ricci. What it doesn't correlate is with Pete's thoughts for the over, which he didn't make official. He only made Mets plus 1.
Yeah, I mean it's a small edge. I can certainly see the other side. Dom Ricci is liking the under as well. And I hope you cash.
And what is that juice, Jose?
Minus 107. First 5 under there. 5.
I definitely think I would prefer the full game under to the first 5. The bullpen should be a little bit rested here, but yeah, sure.
I have PTSD from the bullpen, Pete.
Well, Jose, what you've done, when we track records with honesty and transparency is very impressive. We are all proud of you. Great work. Great to see that ROI so high. Keep the winners coming, and thank you for sharing your insights. Go get that cash, my man. We will see you very soon.
Thank you, gentlemen. Pete, again, happy you survived the floods in New York.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you. All right, Jimmy the Bag, can I quickly just shout out Nate Dogg 420's birthday pick? Nate Dogg 420's birthday pick.
Yes.
Okay. Nate Dogg 420. Happy birthday. Such a great guy. Longtime supporter. It's been so great hanging with you, chatting with you, capping with you. Since the lines aren't up yet, I can't give you Ohio State first half team total over, which would be your birthday pick. But instead, I'll just give you a full game over, 67.5, Ohio State Akron. There you go. Happy birthday, Nate Dogg 420. But I would much rather just give you the Ohio State first half team total over. But in lieu of that, it's not up yet, and I will never give a pick that doesn't exist. Full game over, 67.5. Happy birthday, Nate Dogg 420.
Very, very interesting. Akron, Ohio State over 67.5 birthday pick, but the first half team total over would be a preference. Okay, let's roll on here now. We move on to a huge game in our country, that being Rays, Jays next up. And it is the Pimp Slap play of the day, number 2, Toronto first 5 plus a half at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Jays 41-35 on the road. The Rays 20 games over 500 at 48-28 at home. Alek Manoah on the hill up against Drew Rasmussen. Alek Manoah, and I don't have this in front of me, but just from a vividness standpoint, I've seen him throw spectacular games and then follow it up with a bit of a clunker, and I'm concerned about this spot. 6-2, 3.39 ERA, 1.03 WHIP, 102 Ks, 93 innings, 31 walks, 11 home runs. One thing we know about Alek Manoah is he doesn't shy away from the big moments, and it's not that I don't, and I backed him in big moments and being hurt by it. 8 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 10 Ks in his last start at home versus these very Rays. It scares me to think of this Rays lineup than seeing him again after he just shut them down completely. And he's been much better at home than on the road. And I know that home's kind of a tricky thing with the Jays this year, so maybe the stat isn't worth talking about. But on the road, 2-2, 4.34 ERA, 216 opponents batting average. Drew Rasmussen, what a pickup the Rays did off of the Brew Crew. In a Rays uniform, 3-0, 2.57 ERA, 1.04 WHIP. Just 2 home runs allowed in 49 innings. Last start was at the Jays in a 2-0 win. He went 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 3 Ks. Blue Jays first righties last 30 days, smashing them. 266, 814 OPS. Rays aren't hitting righties last 30 days, 236, 725 OPS. And the Blue Jays bullpen's got their shit together. They're looking good moving into the playoffs. 3.28 ERA, 1.09 WHIP. And the Rays bullpen has been hurting a little bit. 4.05 ERA, 1.29 WHIP. Okay, Pete. Here we go. Big game for us. The Rays open up as favorites, and it hasn't moved. Still minus 108 at Pinnacle, and this total has gone from 8 to 8.5. Take it away.
Yeah, this is tough. I was all over Tampa Bay yesterday with that rookie making his first start. That was a big play for me. This one, numbers say that there's small value with Tampa Bay here. First 5 in full game. I haven't bet it yet. Not sure if I will. If I do, it'll be very modest. Rasmussen is, I have no reason to believe, statistically that is, that we shouldn't expect another 5-inning 1 or 2 run start. And Manoah is in general, as you said, a young guy where you would expect inconsistency, and especially when you're going up against a big analytics team like Tampa Bay, where he's faced them the second time in a row. They make adjustments very well, just like coaches in basketball or football make adjustments at halftime. So, I haven't bet it yet, but my numbers and my general gut tells me that Tampa Bay is a good play here, first 5 and full game.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm just kind of hesitant to fade Manoah in this big spot, but he looked so good against them just last out.
Remo says, good job, Pete, on Tampa Bay yesterday. It seemed the world was on Toronto. Is that true? that guy who was, I can't remember his name, but the starter for Tampa Bay was a phenom. I would have expected the opposite. Usually people go all over the phenom. That's surprising. Wow.
And Dami Gunrici, who is joining us, is going to be a part of a big group of low baggers going to Atlantic City this weekend. If you guys are in the area. Anyway, if you're on the Eastern Seaboard, within 3 hours of the Eastern Seaboard, go hang with the boys in Atlantic City. Okay, we move on. I'm not going to make a move, but let's just take a look at the baseball data here quickly. Against Manoah, they're 6 for 59 against them. Wow. 6 for 59 with 3 doubles. That's it. 102 average with a 350 OPS. Against Rasmussen, 091 with a 267 OPS, but they just saw these guys 5 days ago. Let's go over to the cash flow and see what's going on. 3,984 tickets in. 63% of the tickets, 54% of the cash on the Jays. Then 45.
Sorry. I'm pretty high on Manoah in general, so I don't like betting against him. I might pass on this game for bets as well. And he's off long rest, so it's, go ahead. Sorry, just wanted to qualify.
Important.
Yeah.
And then we have 45% of the tickets, but 79% of the cash on the under, but we've seen it move from 8 to 8.5. And it's the Hard Rock Sportsbook where Dami Gunn's going to be with the boys. Hard Rock Sportsbook in Atlantic City. Okay, we move on. We move on to Minnesota Twins, Chicago Cubs. So a couple of our cappers. So one, we had Joe Chris here. Joe saying that he was on the over, Cubs Twins over 8. We also already heard from Eddie Euler. Eddie Euler said, I played Twins Cubs over at plus 102 today. Cubs over is 5 in a row. Twins 44-25 over on the road. Think we can get over 8 in a nothing game. I would love to hear what Deacon Mike thinks about this spot. Twinkies, Cubbies, Wrigley Field, Chicago, Illinois, 65 Fahrenheit, overcast, 15 mile per hour in. God, that's interesting that people would be confident in an over with the wind blowing in like that at Wrigley. Griffin Jacks against Alec Mills. Jacks 3-4, 6.65 ERA, 1.39 whip. He's been bad. Last start, 4 2/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, just 3 of which were earned. 1 homer, 1 walk, 3 Ks, and a 12-3 loss at home versus the Indians. Going up against Alec Mills, coming off a 6-5 loss at the Phillies. Alec Mills 6-6, 4.50 ERA, 1.40 whip on the season. And Twins versus righties last 30 days have been poor. 221, 696 OPS. Cubs versus righties are pretty good. 246, 762 OPS. Twins bullpen's been very good over the last 30 days. Out of nowhere, 3.32 ERA, 1.30 whip. But the Cubs bullpen's been bad. 5.18 ERA, 1.36 whip. Deacon Mike says wind blowing in at 15 miles per hour. I'm not betting it. Pete, let's set the table for you and watch you work. Twinkies, Cubbies, and we have a minus 110 opening for the Cubs. Let's move 4 cents in their direction to minus 114. And this total that was juiced to the under 8 is now juiced to the over 8. Take it away.
Yeah, I can understand why people might be liking the over here. I think I'm going to make the Minnesota full game team total under, though, an official play. I can, it's again all these bets, except for the low hanging fruit and auto fade pitcher bets. These are all, bets that I believe I have just a small edge on. So this one could easily lose. Betting a team total under going up against Mills is very questionable. But my numbers like it, and I think it's a good spot for Mills. Again, according to my numbers, my analysis, if it loses, that's fine. 3.5 plus 115 Minnesota team total under. I'll take that one.
Twins team total under 3.5 and plus 115. That's the same line at bet 365. Very interesting look here. Well, Crystal Warren's on the Cubs team total over, says their bats are really hitting lately.
I wouldn't mind a play on the Cubs, just money line as well on the full game. I have a big starting pitching advantage here to Mills over Jacks. According to my numbers, this is going out.
No, it makes sense. Here's a look from a trustee, those looking for a little extra action today at Belterra Park. Very interesting angle he's using here. Brody the Oxman at 4-1. Scratch from Churchill on Saturday night for less money and lower odds, but to a much better spot. Much better spot. I love it. I'm consider me interested. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and looks with us, trustee, my guy. Okay, so team total under for the Twinkies and a nice plus price for our man, Pistol Pete Loshak.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the batter versus pitcher. Did you want to add to it?
Sorry, I'm an inch away from making the Cubs full game money line an official play as well.
Ooh. Alec Mills, 273, 909 OPS against him, but tiny sample size, 3 for 11 with a double. The Cubs haven't seen the Twins. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Let's take a look at the cash flow, see if that follows with Pete's analysis here, or Pete's feel. 1,651 tickets in, so small sample size. But look at this. 44% of the tickets on the Cubs and 88% of the cash. Wow. And then 58% of tickets on the under, but 28% of the cash. Wow. So the big bets are clearly coming in on the Cubs with Alec Mills at home.
Look at this. Jamile Stone says, I just suffered over an hour of a popular sports handicapping show, and I couldn't take it. That old guy talks way, way too much. Hell yeah. Give me the bag. If we had to talk way too much to be popular, we'd choose to be unpopular. Fuck it. Fuck that show. Fuck that old guy. Shout out to you, Jamile Stone.
Right. Mills 5.51 ERA last 3 starts. Cubs bullpen 6.61 ERA last 2 starts. 27th in weighted runs created last 2 weeks. That's right. Standing pitching says making me nervous. Pete Chase Fox says Twins money line better hitting. Wow, I'm going to stay off the spot, but all of it seems interesting. We'll see if Pete pulls the trigger on the Cubs where the big bets are. So let's move on. We move to 7:40 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Cardinals at Milwaukee Brewers. Cards 80-69 now, 38-36 on the road. Brewers 91-59, 42-33 at home. We're at American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I don't know what's going on with the roof. It's just 65 Fahrenheit, so the roof may be closed. Overcast, 11 miles per hour, sideways out to right. Woodford versus Woodruff. Jake Woodford, 2-3, 4.30 ERA, 1.39 WHIP, 40 Ks and 52 and a third with 21 walks. Last start was a 7-6 extra inning loss at the Mets, but he pitched okay. 4 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, but no strikeouts. Going up against Woodruff. Woodruff coming off a 4-1 loss at the Tigers. He hasn't looked as dominating of late, but still great numbers on the year. 2.55 ERA, 0.96 WHIP. 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 Ks in his last start. It was a loss, but it was a quality start. Cards versus righties last 30 days, 244, 725 OPS. Brewers numbers are coming down, 251, 744 OPS. And the Cards bullpen has been very good of late. 3.65 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. There's Razor Sharp picks in the house. Great to see you, Razor. Okay, Pete, here is your table. The Brew Crew opened up at -210. They're now -202, an 8-cent move towards the Cardinals. And this total was originally juiced to the over. Actually, it still is. It juiced to the over 7.5, and there's been an 8-cent move towards the over 7.5, now -115. Take it away, Pete.
Yeah, this is a little bit tough. I've had a good read on Milwaukee in general. They've had a couple of injuries. Those guys are coming back, so I want to wait to see what their lineup is. Their lineup with those guys out, Garcia and Adams, was a little bit uninspiring. I did have the Cubs team total over recently when the Cubs were a huge underdog against them, and yesterday I had the under. I wanted to take St. Louis, but didn't have the balls to do it, and I didn't. But I did have the under and cash with that one, and. This one, I'm probably going to pass on this one because there's too many conflicting factors here. My numbers indicate that at this line, St. Louis should once again be a bet, and maybe St. Louis +1.5 or +1 has a little bit more value. Woodruff's last 2 starts are mediocre, and he's also gotten hit hard against St. Louis at times, and St. Louis is obviously a team that has some life to them, to put it mildly. On the other hand, they have a lot of righties in that lineup, and Woodruff has back class. So my confidence numbers on this game are actually low, so it's probably going to be a pass.
Looks like it'll be a pass for me. Woodford against these Brewers, they're 3 for 13, so small sample size, and that's just 3 singles. Against Woodruff, the Cards are hitting 203 but with a 607 OPS. Let's move over to the cash flow and see what we are dealing with here. Eric Jones on the Cards money line. Let's see what we got here in this spot. St. Louis, Milwaukee, 1,967 tickets in. 43% of the tickets on the Brewers, 2% of the cash. Big bets coming in on the St. Louis Cardinals. Then we have 55% of the tickets, 64% of cash on the under. Whoa. So we have big bets coming in on the Cardinals and Cubs, clearly.
And my numbers also like first 5 under a little bit as well. But I definitely didn't bet that one, and I might not.
Wow. Wow. Big bets coming in on. Huh. Okay, no move for me at this point. Need more time to think about that. Here's my next big dog first 5 spot, and I probably should have waited. But I moved on Senzatella first 5 at plus 165. And this is not a fade of Urias, although the Dodgers versus righties 204, 630 OPS over the last 30 days. I like going against that. I just felt like Senzatella's pitching very well. And even though we'll go over his baseball data, even though it's not excellent, it's not even good against the Dodgers, 312 rating against him, 895 OPS. I just feel like he's locked in right now. And Urias, who's had such a great year, 18-3, 2.99 ERA, 1.03 WHIP, got touched a bit last time he was at Coors. His last start, he went just 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks, and 5-3 win at home versus the Diamondbacks. He's been better on the road than he has been at home. This is not easy. I just felt like the risk reward was right for me to back Senzatella at home here. He's coming off a nice start at Atlanta, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, no walks, 7 Ks. The Rockies are hitting lefties at a nice spot, 247 with 768 OPS compared to the Dodgers not hitting righties at all. And the Rockies bullpen's been better, but the Dodgers bullpen's been very, very good. So with all that being said, I took the Rockies first 5 plus 165. Money's always going to come in on the Dodgers late. I probably should have showed some discipline and waited. Dodgers opened up minus 198. They're now minus 205. And I believe that that money had moved already to the Rockies when I made this bet this morning. It was like minus 196 or minus 198, somewhere around there. But it's now minus 205. Pete, take it away. Interesting spot here. The total sitting at 11. And Noli knows on the first 5 under 6. Henry Dice on the full game under 11. And Luke Murphy, the esteemed author Luke Murphy, says, do we dare bet a first 5 under at Coors Field? Take it away, Pete.
Yeah, they stole my thunder. Yeah, the side is, my numbers indicate that you might be right, Jimmy the Bag. As a huge underdog, Colorado might have a little bit of value, but there's low confidence there, and I don't like it. I did take under on the overnight line. I got 11.5. Now it's down to 11. Definitely would still take it at 11, and obviously you could still lose. Better to bet size appropriately, and I like the first 5 under as well. I'll make the first 5 under 6 minus 115 an official play, and a slight chance I'll double up before the show is over until the full game under on as well. But Colorado first 5 under 6 minus 115 official play.
I like it. I want in. Noli's on it too. First 5 under 6. What that was at minus 115.
Now, it would all be surprising if Senzatella, who is, and also, maybe thinking about, the Colorado first 5 team total under as well, because although Urias got crushed in his last start at Coors as well. But, Senzatella facing a good lineup at Coors, I don't care how his season is gone, a shelling here would not be a surprise at all. But I'll take it.
Even with the way the Dodgers are hitting righties, 204, 630 OPS over the last 30 days?
Even with the way the Dodgers are hitting righties.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I do feel that I'm going to lock in with this first 5 under 6 with you guys. I'm already on the Rockies first 5 at plus 165. Noli knows who will be on the show tomorrow, who is awesome last week. Just awesome. I love Kevin with that guy. He says this. He says, don't be fooled by Coors Field unders. They're profitable. They have been for years. And
they're profitable, but any individual game, you can be like, well, the humidor maybe breaks a little bit. The repairman is lazy and doesn't come when he's supposed to, and bam! All of a sudden, you got a Coors game from 20 years ago. So yeah.
And Crystal Warren says, coming off a Colorado road trip, the first game under has hit all year. All right, there you go. And one other thing, there was Deacon Mike's home run parlays in Kansas City, Boston, Colorado. So he's gone the over 2.5 home runs here. Okay. So, Pete, on the first 5 under 6 minus 115, I'm going to tail that.
I might actually double up on this one. I don't know. Maybe that's going a little bit too nuts here. All right, I'll just stick one play. Don't try to go too nuts here.
Next up, and I'm also on the Rockies first 5 plus 165. All right, let's move on. We move on to 9:38 p.m. Eastern. Houston Astros at Los Angeles Angels. Astros 89-61, 42-33. Angels 72-78, 38-38 at home. And I did take the Astros on the -1 first 5 line at minus 124. First 5 -1 at minus 124. I did like that a little bit better than the -1.5. at minus 135, just slightly by the tiniest, and I didn't want to double up here. I think that Packy Naughton's run is going to come to an end, and he wasn't a very highly thought of prospect, and he's been very good. He's a slow-throwing lefty that can be tricky, but I think that there's enough footage on him now, and the Astros over the last 30 days, 267, 835 OPS versus lefties. Now Urquidy does not have very good numbers against this Angels squad. That's the only thing that doesn't really correlate, which was almost enough to get me off this. But he has been good of late. Just last start, he allowed just 2 hits, 1 earned run in 6 innings at the Rangers. I just feel like there's a big advantage for me here in Astros, Angels, first 5. So I took it. I think Packy Naughton gets touched, and I'm backing Urquidy. Let's have Pete set this up for us. Here we go. The Angels, Astros. Oh, that's first 5. This first 5 has gone from 4.5 to 5, and full game here in Angels, Astros. Astros opened up minus 225. They're now minus 192 at Pinnacle. So money coming in on the Angels, a 33-cent move, and this total has had a 10-cent move to the over 9, now at minus 116. Pete, take it away.
Yeah, great analysis, Jimmy the Bag. Urquidy, of course, is coming off of some shoulder issues, and his last start was excellent. The most important thing, though, on that start was that his velocity was high for his whole start, which has not been the case in his career. He tends to, when he's a little bit weak, he maintains his velocity for a couple innings, and then it drops off, and that could certainly happen here as well. I agree with you on Houston versus Naughton. It looks like a big advantage for Houston. The Houston first 5 team total over 2.5 is very tempting. The first 5 over at 5 is very tempting as well. And even the Houston first 5 money line, even at minus 200, according to my numbers, has some value. So all those plays, I'll probably be on them modestly and small, so that if Houston comes in and is just flat, as we've seen from them once in a while this year, in the midst of their hot streaks, my day won't be ruined as far as profit and losses are concerned. But yeah, got to be leaning Houston first 5 team total over, the first 5 over at 5, and the Houston first 5 money line as well.
I like it. And anything official for the show at this point? You don't need a portrait.
I don't. Yes, I will give something official for this game, but we'll wait till the end recap when I'll decide what I want to do, because I don't want to double or triple up on it publicly, but I do want to give something on it, so I'll give it.
Great stat from Ski Profit. I love the way we all work together, sharing angles and ideas. Ski Profit. And he's been telling us throughout the last few months about the minus 200 favorites at $100 a bet. They're down $1,880 this month, but they're still up 7,105 on the season. And that's no surprise, right, Pete, that the favorites start losing around this time of year.
Why is that? Because in the beginning of the season, the favorites tend to be favorites just because they're that awesome. At the end of the season, it tends to be because of what we've seen all season, and the teams they're playing are playing a bunch of scrappy, no-name minor leaguers who've only been in the majors for a couple of weeks, and it's hard to bet on those guys. But a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, those guys do have value. So awesome fucking post from Ski Profit, and that would be that's not a surprising statistic that he just posted up there. Shout out to Ski Profit.
That was great. I love it. Okay, so we move on, and I'm on the Astros first 5 minus 1, minus 124, and I've been trying very hard not to double up on any bets. There's Robert Cherry in the house, says 22-12 on Pamper Pop plays, out for blood this week. I'm looking forward to hear your action, Robert Cherry. Okay, next up for us, 9:40 p.m. Eastern, Atlanta Braves, Arizona Diamondbacks, and we did not know who was pitching, whether it looks like it will be Chavez, because I saw one site saying Huascar Ynoa. I think it is going to be Chavez making his first start. Chavez has always been a very tricky pitcher for me to cap. I want to fade him. I feel like he's been done for years now, but he keeps getting a job, and his numbers are very good, and he's had an excellent September, really good September out of the bullpen. Now it looks like he will be starting here. Chavez 3-2, 2.67 ERA, 1.04 WHIP, 32 Ks in 27 innings, 7 walks, and no home runs allowed this year. God, he's been good. What a crafty vet Jesse Chavez is. Going up against Luke Weaver. Now, Luke Weaver's big stat here is at home. 3-1, 1.95 ERA, opponents hitting 171 against him. On the year, he's not been very good because he's on the road. He's 0-4, 7.95 ERA, 299 opponents batting average. Braves versus righties, 250, 761 OPS last 30 days. Diamondbacks aren't hitting righties at all. 220, 656 OPS. Diamondbacks bullpen is terrible at 4.87 ERA. Let's take a look at this spot here and see if there's not. Bet Online has put out the first line, and with Atlanta at minus 149 and total at 9.5. Do you have any interest in when this market comes out? Is there something you're leaning towards, but you want to see what the line is?
Maybe an Atlanta team total over, because Weaver definitely seems fundamentally vulnerable right now. But Atlanta's coming off of a big win from yesterday. So we'll see. Maybe Atlanta team total over, maybe.
And Puzzler, great stuff, says Roto has Chavez to start, followed by Tukey as primary.
Okay, so that makes me think. I mean, Toussaint has definitely control issues, which tend to be worse on the road. And Arizona has a whole bunch of decent lefties. I've been betting Arizona team total overs recently when they've been going on the road, because they've been so low, 2.5s, 3.5s, and stuff like that. So if it's Chavez and Tukey, I might be thinking maybe a first 5 over, maybe a full game over. We'll see what the line is.
All right, there's your 9:40 p.m.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Wait and see. Next up, 9:40 p.m. Eastern, Seattle Mariners, 81-69, 39-36 on the road at Oakland Athletics, 82-68, 40-35 at home. We're at Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California, 79 Fahrenheit, clear, 7 miles per hour out to right. Marco Gonzalez on the bump, going up against Paul Blackburn. Gonzalez 8-5, 4.05 ERA, 1.21 WHIP on the year, 95 Ks, 36 walks, but has allowed 26 home runs. He's been better of late. Better in the second half of the season. Last out, it was a 9-4 extra inning loss at home versus the Red Sox, but he pitched well. Quality start, 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 walks, 7 Ks. Going up against Blackburn, who has only thrown 27 in the third innings this year, 18 Ks, 7 walks, 1.57 WHIP. His last start was a 7-2 win at the Royals, and he looked good. 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 walks, 3 Ks. That was that very interesting game we broke down last week where Matty Ice was on the A's, and the bunch of our specialty or showcased plays of the day were on the other side on the Royals, and Blackburn did pitch well. Mariners versus righties last 30 days, 226, 691 OPS. A's versus lefties last 30 days, 239, 721 OPS. This A's bullpen's just been a train wreck. It's been a train wreck for a while now. 5.83 ERA, 1.46 WHIP. Mariners bullpen, 4.02 ERA, 1.33 WHIP. They're actually falling back a little bit over the last 30 days as well. All right, table setting time for Pistol Pete Loshak. Blackburn and the A's opened up minus 125. They're now minus 134, a 9-cent move towards them. This total was initially juiced to the under 8.5. It is now juiced to the over 8.5. Take it away.
Yeah, I was all over Seattle yesterday. Not a huge bet, but a very confident bet. Mania should not have been that big of a favorite in my opinion. Of course, they won. This one, the lines look pretty dead on. I think that it might be a better bullpen spot for Oakland because Seattle used their big closer yesterday, and then Oakland's top guys didn't go. Maybe a slight lean to the under. Blackburn is mediocre at best, but as we talk about a lot in these shows, this might be a little bit of a better spot for him than normal. His last home start against Seattle was, a classic 6-2, which is what you do see from guys like Blackburn. Guys like Blackburn will get, crushed half the time, and then the other half the time it's like 6-2, and you're like, well, which one's going to come? And this seems more likely to be a 6-2 spot for him than a spot where he gets crushed. So slightly into unders here. I didn't bet it yet, though, and that's my take. Gonzalez has been excellent.
No, it makes sense. Against Blackburn, the Mariners 333, 990 OPS, but you're right about that last home start he had against them. Against Gonzalez, the A's are hitting 265 with a 774 OPS. Take a look at the cash flow in this spot. We have 2,597 tickets in. 48% of the tickets, 49% of the cash on Seattle. So it looks like it's a coin flip here. But 38% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on the under. And yet it's becoming now juiced to the over. That's interesting.
Yeah, you know what? God, my numbers like the under here a little bit. So I'll make that one an official play. Big red flag coming up. I am going to do the safe thing to do. safe thing to do. I'm going to buy to 9 at Pinnacle minus 126. Not because my spreadsheet says that I should do that, just out of fear and being a pussy and trying to be safe. But I'll do it. Under 9 minus 120. My numbers do like the under, though, in general. So I'll take under 9 minus 126. Jimmy the bag.
Interesting. I get it. I absolutely get it. And that's not too expensive, minus 126. Okay, looks like we can leave this last game alone and just review all of our action. We don't know who is pitching for the Padres. We thought it was going to be Musgrove, but now it's just up in the air, no line at all. But I would like to just briefly talk about Kevin Gausman and your thoughts on him moving forward. The weather in Petco Park today, 74 Fahrenheit clear, 6 miles per hour in. Gausman in September is 2-1, 4.70 ERA, 272 opponent's batting average. He's had a tough second half of the season. His last start was a 7-4 loss at home versus these very Padres, he went 5 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 1 walk, and 7 Ks. He's not being very good. And these Padres are hitting 273, but just a 699 OPS against them. Is this, and then Ski Profits has faded the Padres bullpen. It looks like the Padres have given up. Their bullpen 5.45 ERA, 1.40 WHIP. Is there anything you can tell us about your thoughts on Gausman moving forward and the Padres as a fade in general?
Yeah, I mean the Padres. I sort of expected San Diego to improve a bit more than they have. That's been one of my calls privately that has not really panned out. And Gausman, is not lights out, but he is consistent. This is probably a relatively decent spot for him. So I would expect him to have, a nice spot here. There's no lines for this game, though, right? Yeah.
No lines at this point.
Yeah, I would expect him. San Diego has been a good fade, and me betting on San Diego is why my overall ROI isn't higher than it would be if I hadn't bet on them these past few months. But I was expecting him to be have a little bit more value, and that hasn't been the case.
And the Pamper Pop play of the day is in from our Robert Cherry is Miami, Washington, first 5 under 4.5. Puzzler says Roto has Musgrove expected. Then do they not have Gausman expected? Because I thought that Musgrove was the reason why we didn't get a line yet. So I'd be interested to hear that. Okay, here we go. Let's review our action and see if there's any additions from Pistol Pete Loshak. By the way, it's Nate Dogg 420's birthday, and the birthday pick is Akron, Ohio State over 67.5. And we're going to talk college football, 2 games. That will be one of them right after this. We get started at 1:10 p.m. Eastern. Mike M, his pimp slap play today is Tigers first 5 plus a half, and Pete's on the full game under 9 at plus 103, and I'm on the Tigers first 5 and got a terrible line at plus 110. That you can see how I'm lowering my volume because I'm pretty upset. Kansas City Royals at Cleveland Indians. I'm on the Indians first 5 minus a half at minus 115. And I'm also on the over 9 at minus 125. Let's see, did the 9.5s get back on the board? Tell me they did. There's a couple of them going back and forth from 9.5 to 9. And Pete is on the Indians first 5 on the money line at minus 145. Then we have the first taint play of the day is Cincinnati Reds team total over 4.5. I moved on the Pirates first 5 at plus 170. Then we have the Pamper Pop play of the day, Miami, Washington, first 5 under 4.5. Pete is on the Nats, first 5 at plus 135, and I want in. I want in on that spot, so I am going to tail Pete there, and it was the spot I wanted to move on. We don't have a line yet, or do we, for Orioles Phillies? No, still nothing in Orioles Phillies, but it's going to be a bullpen day. Here's the next taint play of the day. It's the Yankees run line at minus 120, and no move for Pete or I. Then we have the Say Hey play of the day. Jose, Say Hey play of the day, first 5 under 5.5 in Mets Red Sox. Pete moved on the Mets at plus 122, and I want them to. And I think I should move on them. So I think I'm going to add that. Why did you decide to go full game instead of first 5?
On which one?
On the Mets Red Sox. Is because you think you're not comfortable with the Stroman spot and you trust the Mets bullpen better than the Red Sox bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you get slightly better, juice with taking full game lines than you get taking first half lines. And also, yes, as I said, my numbers indicate it's not a good spot for Stroman. But, dude, fucking, I'd say I'm slightly better than average handicapper based on what we got here in the chat. But, I'd say about 40% of these cappers are better handicappers than me. Ask them. Don't ask me. I don't know, man. I'm on the Mets.
And that is the first 5 under 5. My fault. I had 5.5 under 5 at -107. Thank you there, Jose. Okay, so then next up, we have the second pimp slot play today. Toronto first 5 plus a half. Pete and I are off of Jays Rays at this point. Then Pete has moved on the Minnesota Twins team total under 3.5 at +115. Eddie Euler and Joe Chris are both on the Twins Cubs over 8. And this is what Eddie Euler says. Cubs overs 5 in a row. Twins 44-25 to the over on the road. I think we get over 8 in a nothing game, but it is blowing in hard at 15 miles per hour in. Next up, 7:40 p.m. Eastern, Cardinals Brewers. We have stayed off. Then Pete moved on the first 5 under 6 at -115 and Dodgers Rockies. That's a move Noli noses on, and I want in. Oh, and I'm already on the Rockies first 5 +165. Then we have Astros Angels. I am on the Astros first 5 -1 at -124. And Pete said that he might be making an addition in this game. Are you?
On the Astros Angels game, I don't think I can go public, but I'll probably have small, highly correlated bets on the Houston first 5 team total over, the Houston first 5 money line at -205, and probably even smaller, the first 5 over as well. Although that I might pass on that one because Urquidy is putting up good numbers right now, and it's another. It looks like another good spot for him as well. So yeah, I'm not going to give Houston first 5 as a money line, although I'll almost certainly be on it. Small,
modest. Braves, Diamondbacks. We have stayed off at this point. Eddie Euler says may take a shot with Jays Rays under 8.5. Pete bought up to 9 and didn't cost him that much at -126 at Pinnacle in Mariners A's. And then we don't know what's going on with Giants Padres. It's not on the board right now. I thought that Musgrove was the question mark, not Gaussman, but we don't know what is going on at this point. That is MLB. Is there anything you want to add, or do we move on to college football?
No, let's move on. Let's move on. But I love the analysis in general. The most important part of this show is not necessarily picks are second; they're important, but the analysis is invaluable, and I take analysis from all these people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It helps me tremendously.
I prefer just this, unless it's NHL, which I have a lot of confidence in. I prefer when I don't have this show and I can't cap with 200 people.
Yeah.
I'd rather just sit back and do nothing. I know my ROI increases working with everybody. All right, let's get into college football. So, I got pretty cocky at 14-3 the first 2 weeks of the year, and there was no skill involved. I was just hammering these teams that didn't play last year, hammering them, and then acting like I can beat college football. So that was week 0 and week 1. I was 14-3. In weeks 2 and 3, I've gone 5-14. So I'm sitting 19-17, 52.8%, down 0.05 units, ROI 0.14%, average line -111. I had a 3-6 week. Thank God I added a San Jose State Hawaii under late on Saturday night in despair. And thank God for Noli knows Arkansas State, Washington under 58.5. Ugh. And I was at the horse track when that win came in, and thank God, because I was a nonplussed. And Army first half was the easiest bet I've ever seen. Do we just fade Connecticut first half every chance we get? And Max was talking about doing the first quarter as well, and I should have taken the first quarter. But I made mistakes across the board. Now I've done nothing, absolutely nothing. And I want to talk everything out with you guys throughout the week. We're starting with 2 games, and I wanted to start because I had Pete. I wanted to keep milking his knowledge on Toledo and Ohio State. So that's the 2 games we picked. We start off at 2 p.m. Eastern, Toledo Rockets at Ball State Cardinals. And I'm just telling you, I don't mean to just blow too much smoke, but that call on Colorado State was
I'll tell you 2 things. First of all, Colorado State obviously was a big underdog because they are fundamentally ass. So if they had come in and gotten absolutely blown out, wouldn't have been a surprise. Doesn't necessarily mean that my analysis would have been wrong. right? But, it's sort of you see this in college football a lot, and I don't mean to give away the farm here, but, when teams are off of a tough game, it does affect them in their next game, psychologically and mentally. A lot of teams would be terrible after playing LSU because LSU is terrible against a spread. That is because LSU would just be so brutal and bruising. So Toledo came off a tough game against Notre Dame. They almost won. And now they're coming in as a big justifiable home favorite against a team that is ass, but also had been underperforming their preseason expectations. And so you never really know unless you're friends with people on the team what's going on with the team. And in some of those cases, it is the case that the team in Colorado State's situation is just ass, and you should just auto fade them. But based on what I knew and what I was seeing, I thought it was worth a shot on the. And I also gave the under, Jimmy the Bag, and got someone to thanking me for the under. So that was my take on it. Toledo is obviously a legitimately elite team in the MAC, but it was just you just got to be careful when teams come off of those huge games psychologically and mentally. It can affect them in the next game, and especially when they're a big favorite.
Absolutely, and it was just perfectly done. And now we're in the MAC. So Ball State opens up as 4-point dogs. That moves to 4.5. And Bet365, Bet Online, Heritage, UWager, Bodog Ball moved it to 5. And from a cash flow standpoint, this game popping off at 2 p.m. Let's see what we got at 2 p.m. Just 743 tickets in, but all of the early action on Toledo, 84% of tickets, 96% of cash. We'll have a lot more when we look at it soon. So let's talk about this spot, Schumann Stadium. We're in Muncie, Indiana. Toledo followed that very impressive 32-29 loss at Notre Dame by laying the egg 22-6 at home versus winless Colorado State as 14.5-point favorites. Carter Bradley, their sophomore quarterback, managed just 11 first downs. And it wasn't him really that was the inherent problem. He went 22 of 36 for 254 yards. They managed just 291 yards on offense. They were held to 21 yards rushing. So when they can't move the ball on the ground, it's a pretty easy defense against them. And so, of course, Toledo goes 4 of 18 on third down. Colorado State, on the other hand, gained 209 yards rushing, just gashed the Rockets' defense. Ball State followed up their 44-13 loss at Penn State by losing 45-12 at Wyoming as 6.5-point dogs. And obviously, that first game we saw of Wyoming, barely winning 19-16, against the FCS squad was ridiculous. And they're actually maybe a very good team. But we'll talk about Wyoming on another day. Here, we're going to talk about Ball State. Their passing game was dreadful. Drew Plitt, John Paddock, it didn't matter who was in. They were awful. They both threw interceptions. Plitt goes 8 for 14 for 60 yards. Paddock goes 13 for 20 for 82 yards. So they each average just a tiny bit over 4 yards per completion. They just can't move the ball through the air. I gave you the spread, but let's also mention this total for this Toledo spot and then hear what Pete has to say about it. Again, this game pops off at 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. The total sitting at 56.5. All we've seen is Bet Online move to 57. That's the only movement. And, of course, the market moving towards the Rockets. Pete, take it away.
This is a tougher game. When I was handicapping this one, I just felt pretty nonplussed, to be honest. I wasn't sure what I was seeing. And, I think that, obviously Ball State is probably not as bad and as overrated and overvalued as they've shown themselves to be in the first 3 weeks. They should be a lot better. Their passing game should improve, and it's also a bounce back spot for Toledo. My first thought would have been to the over, but it is a high total, and I gotta look a little bit more into that before I pull the trigger on that if I'm going to. The two elite teams in the MAC, and my thought would be that maybe slight lean to Ball State as a dog, and small, bigger than slight lean to the over at 56.5.
So clearly Ball State's defense is bad.
Right.
But we are expecting a bounce back from their offense in that breakdown.
So I like the over a bit more for sure. And Luce Sox says Ball State sucks so bad, season long fade. That might be the case. And when you look at a team that's done what they've done, you look at the first game. Here's how I analyze college football. Right, first game against Western Illinois, not a good performance, but you could put an asterisk on it. Next game they go to Penn State, blown out. Okay, they don't cover. Fine. It's understandable, right? Then they go to Wyoming, a tough place to play, a team with some life to them this year, and they look bad again. Okay, fine. Does that mean I'm ready to say Ball State is ass and auto fade all year long? No, definitely not. You have to look at the spots in all college football games and sort of write the story in your head. I'm not a long epic, just a couple of words or a couple of sentences about what happened or what likely happened.
No, I like the breakdown. I find it very, very, very interesting. So a possible move for Pete on the over, but nothing official here.
Yeah, and Osby says Ball State has not looked the same as last year. That's true. And if all of a sudden 1 week, bam, they look just like they did last year, I would say that's what I would expect.
Interesting. So there is Toledo Ball State.
I don't mean to nonplus the entire fucking chat here with that analysis. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I can tell you that Crystal Warren is happy with our use of nonplus.
Oh, I'm happy with it too.
She says that she hasn't heard that since her grandma used it years ago.
Hell yeah. Crystal Warren makes me feel nonplussed. I just didn't want to say it, but now I can say it since we're using the word.
Deacon Mike says Texas Christian hat today, dressed as the Pope tomorrow. Okay, let's move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Akron Zips at Ohio State, Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm looking forward to break this game down. This is a big spot for Akron. This opened up at 49 and first went up to 50, but not at Pinnacle. Let's see, did it go up to 50? It's now at 49 pretty much across the board, but was there? Let me just check. Bet Online's at 49.5. And yes, Bet Online moved to 50 or 2 days ago at 450, but it's sitting at 49.5. From a cash flow standpoint, do we have any tickets in at this point early at 7:30 action? No, it's not up on the board, so not enough tickets in to help us there. So Akron opened up the season with a 60-10 loss at Auburn. And in that second half, DJ Irons stepped up. The JUCO transfer. Now, yes, it was against Auburn's backups, but I thought DJ Irons looked good, and now Akron has a quarterback. So in the next game at home versus Temple, Maxwell Smart got me off of Akron. And I'm thankful that he did that. It was a 45-24 loss at home, and they weren't awful in that game. They got 26 first downs, compared to the 19 first downs that Temple got. They were done in by 2 costly turnovers. They followed that up with an easy home win versus Bryant, as 12.5-point favorites. And sometimes a team needs to get a little bit of confidence. And we know they're going to get smashed here on Saturday. But DJ Irons continues to impress and gain confidence. He went 19-23 for 296 yards through the air. He rushed 15 times for 136 yards. Ohio State is disappointed all year. And last week was no exception. After losing 35-28 at Oregon, they followed up by squeaking past Tulsa at 41-20. They opened as 27.5-point favorites, went down to 24. Travion Henderson in his third game broke Archie Griffin's 49-year-old freshman rushing record, 277 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Ohio State defense held Tulsa to 73 yards on the ground, but they were slaughtered through the air. And obviously, DJ Irons can't do that against them. 428 yards through the air for the Golden Hurricane. They put up 500 yards of offense against the Buckeyes. As CJ Stroud is not making the leap that I expected him in his third start, missed receivers, threw a pick, lost a fumble, threw for just 185 yards. And there were some injuries on Ohio State. Thyre Munford left the game with an injury, their guard. Josh Proctor, their most experienced player on the defense, suffered a leg injury. Defensive end Zach Harrison was out we don't know exactly why, but he was out of the lineup. Pete, I wish that this wasn't an angry Ohio State ball club because Akron might be in for trouble. I wish this was a fat and happy football team. Take it away, Pete. Akron, Ohio State.
Yeah, look at that. Jacksonville Zoe says, I have a friend that is a big OSU fan. He's taking Akron on the points in this game. Now, you know Jimmy the Bag. Long-term viewers of my videos know whenever someone is a big, lifelong fan of a team just one individual team, not a conference, just one individual team, their opinion is one of the most valuable opinions in all of sports betting, and especially when they're saying fade my team. So that weighs very heavily for me. I was not leaning towards taking Ohio State minus the points here, although I do probably think that the Ohio State team total overs are worth a play. If the Ohio State first half team total over is 35, probably be liking that one. If it's 35.5, maybe not. But over 67.5 is the official birthday play for who's the
Nate Dogg 420.
Right, Nate Dogg 420. Right, sorry. Over 67.5. Ohio State's going to put up their points. I don't really care who's on the field. Akron can't stop anyone, right? They gave up 45 to Temple, and then Temple came back the next week and put up 3 at home against Boston College, right? And then Akron will probably put up a few points here or there. I don't know if they'll get to their team total, but I'm liking the over 67.5. I mean, with games like this and lines like these and situations like these, you got to look at the head coach, right? Now, we know that Urban Meyer was a fucking bully, dick, asshole, cocksucker, which means that he would run up the score. So you'd want to bet overs. You'd want to bet his team's minus 45, as opposed to Nick Saban, who is not really that way. And you might want to bet the underdog in those situations. Ryan Day also looks like he might be a fucking dick, cocksucker, asshole bully, which means bet overs and be leaning towards, or at least be shying away from betting the underdog in those situations. They had 2 similar games in 2019 with Day as head coach with these kinds of lines. First one, 76-5, and the second one, 73-14. They dominated both of those games. And, it might not happen here. It might happen, but it'll sneak under at 65. But my bet's on the over, and its official birthday pick, 67.5. I do think that they will run up the score and put up 35 at least in the first half.
Do you feel like the first half over, or are you trusting that Day's an asshole and he's just going to keep running up the score rather than relaxing a bit in the fourth quarter?
I think Day's going to be a bully in the first half and an asshole dick in the second half, and I think there's going to be a lot of scoring.
I like it. I like it. I like it. And we have news coming in on Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma's coach. Brady says Lincoln Riley's wife and kids have left him and are now living in Florida. Lincoln's apartment door has seen the front and backs of many women. Wonder if his focus is on coaching right now, per Kenny White. So information coming in on Lincoln Riley. Over 67.5 full game. I'm very interested in this spot. Puzzler says I can't count on Akron scoring. The only fear I have is that DJ Irons is being able to move the ball comfortably on the ground, and that's not Ohio State's problem. Their issue is their secondary. But I like this look. And I'm interested, Pete, that this first half over would be 30. Oh, shit, it's minus 31. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. It's 38, of course. Okay. I like it, Pete. I'm interested. I like it. I'm interested. I like it. I think I'm going to roll with Pete on that as well. Okay, there is your show for today. Let's do a final review here. First off, it is our guy Nate Dogg 420's birthday, and the birthday picks the over 67.5 in Akron, Ohio State. He's also interested, Pete, in a first half team total over for Ohio State.
Yeah, but not if it's 35.5, those can be tough because then they do dominate at 35 and piss you off. Just keep it simple. Over 67.5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I feel you. And Who's Knock says Wentworth, Virginia is a lock. Says Spencer Ratchet is horrible and Oklahoma's overrated. Oh, good old Spencer Ratchet. Thank you for sharing that with us. Who's Knock in the house? Dennis Trusty is a look at Belterra Park, race 3. I imagine that's popping off in an hour from now. Belterra Park race 3. He's on Brody the Oxman at 4-1, and the angle makes a ton of sense. Scratch from Churchill on Saturday night for less money and lower odds, but to a much better conditioning spot. So the owner just wanting him to win here and get some confidence. I like that look from Dennis Trusty. Okay, let's go down the card here one last time. Oh, and also Die Hard MMA podcast is giving us Dana White's Contender Series looks. I'm going to pop that here for all you guys right here. This is from our guy Clint, started the Die Hard MMA podcast. Okay, so we start with Detroit. This game pops off in 21 minutes. Pete's on the full game under 9. Mike M's on the Detroit first 5 plus a half. I'm on Detroit first 5 money line. Then we move on to the 6-10 spot Royals Indians. I'm on the over 9 minus 125. Pete's on Indians first 5 minus 145. I'm on the Indians first 5 minus a half. Then we move over to the Pirates Reds. The first taint play of the day is the Reds team total over 4.5 minus 130. And I am on the Pirates first 5 for a huge score at plus 170. Then in the Nats game, Pete is on the Nats first 5 plus 135, and I want in. I wanted in before the show started, but was nervous about it. Pamper Pop play of the day is Miami Nats first 5 under 4.5. Next up, Orioles Phillies, no line. Looks like a bullpen day. Then the second taint play of the day is Yankees run line at minus 120. Yankees run line at minus 120. Pete and I are off that spot. Jose Seje play of the day is Mets Red Sox first 5 under 5 at minus 107. Pete's on the Mets full game at plus 122, and I'm very interested. Very, very interested. And Crystal Warren says, scope home run prop in the Tigers game looks good, too, from our Crystal Warren. Mike M, second pimp slot play of the day is Toronto Blue Jays first 5 plus a half. Pete and I are off of Jays Rays. Pete moved on the Twins team total under 3.5 at plus 115. And both Joe, Chris, and Eddie Euler are on the Twins Cubs over 8. And Deacon Mike, who is our resident Chicago Cubs expert, he hammers the home run props. He does not want anything to do with the home run prop with the wind blowing in. The home run prop, of course, is over 2.5 homers. That's Twinkies Cubs. Cardinals Brew Crew, we are off. Pete's on the first 5 under 6 and Dodgers Rockies. So is Noli knows. I want in. I'm going to move on that after the show. Astros Angels. I'm on the Astros first 5 minus 1 at minus 124. Pete broke down Urquidy's velocity lasting throughout the whole game as he's been coming off the IL. And I like him here, and I think Naughton gets touched. Then Braves, Diamondbacks. Sorry. Razor Sharp Breaks making me laugh. Also, Jose calling anybody daddy is making me laugh and puke. So it's more of a laugh, puke. More of a And then next up is the under 9 at minus 126 at Pinnacle for Pete and Mariners A's. And then we need to see what's going on with the line with the pitching in Giants Padres. Then the over Pete is looking at in Toledo Ball State. I think it's an interesting look. I need more time on it. And he likes the over in Akron, Ohio State. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And I want in on his breakdown there. There you have it. There is our show for today. Catch Pete every Tuesday on Loshak in the bag. And also, he's going to be jumping on our Sundays once in a while, right, Pete? Because we loved having you on our Sunday show.
Sure, we'll see. Yeah, sure. We never know what the future may bring, Jimmy the Bag.
No, we don't. But you are looking sharp today in your Army fatigue.
Yeah, this is a particularly good look, man. Look at this shit.
Oh, man. It's, make sure you get a pic of it for your dating apps, man.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. This is going on Bumble front and center.
Pete, any last words before we put a bow on this?
No. Let's get this cash leche, baby.
Oh, I love it. I think that's Pete's first leche. Let's get paid in full. Pete and I have known ever since we started it. We have no show without all you guys in the chat. Your insights, your humor, you feed us energy, and we thrive off of it, and we love it. So thank you for everything that you guys do here, and that comes from all of us at Pub Sports Radio. We're very excited. We just hit 10,000 subscribers, and that's thanks to you guys. So thank you guys for your support. It means the world to us. Deacon Mike, Matty Ice, Osby, Razor Sharp Picks. Razor Sharp Picks says, Loshak, if gambling doesn't work for you, modeling would be best.
Oh, I could get work looking like that. Look, if there's any casting agents out there, look at this. Look at this shit. Look at this shit, man. You need to stand out from the crowd nowadays. You get ratings with this shit. Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. Ich Schnizzle Big Daddy Boom in the house. Crystal Warren, whom we love dearly. Sanka, all you guys. Brian Watson, Who's Knock, Birdie, Lou Chase Fox, OG Lowbagger, Dennis Trusty. All you guys, thank you so much for your support. Maxwell Smart, thank you guys. On behalf of all of us, let's get paid in full. Leche, hey, those bookmakers!